All right, my screen is up. You should be able to see it right now. All right, so we're on the home page of Artpira. Cool part about Artpira is we talk about all the time, but it is the central design hub for all the brother machines, from embroidery to the scan and cut lineup, all the way to our sublimation printer, print mode out. We are rocking and rolling all in one place, which is really cool. So we in the past have used some of the sublimation designs that are already in here, but today we're going to start designing from scratch. And so if you want to start designing from scratch, there's a little plus sign that says new. It gives you a whole bunch of options. I'm a sublimation girl, so I do a lot of printing in here. My printing designs are already selected. I'm going to go ahead and hit design editor. We definitely want to do the letter, and we're going to hit done. It gives us a blank canvas. Now, remember when I talked about measuring right here? We're going to create our own little like border so that we know what to design within. So in order to do that, we're going to hit the plus sign up on the screen. We're going to go to printing data, and we're going to grab a basic shape. And we're just going to grab that square that's in there, and we're going to size that square to what we need. All right, so we're going to go into layout. So you can see the height and width right here. I'm going to click that little lock and unlock it because I don't want it to stay locked and be proportional. 3.86 can work for my height. My width, we're going to go ahead and change that to 2.7.
That is so simple to do. I'm so glad you're showing this because there are so many different things. If you're thinking you have to use exactly what's in there, this is creating your own, totally new.
Yeah, exactly. So I've already got, so that is my little parameters for design. So now I know whatever I design within that space is going to fit on my luggage tag. All right, so now let's go ahead and get started with the base of my design, which is going to say bride squad. So we're going to start with bride.
I love that.
Yeah, you can put bride tribe. You could really do, maybe you've got a little fun theme going on. We're going to switch the font. And you can see all the different fonts that are in here. I'm going to go see what's down here. That one's cute. There's a lot of really good ones that work for this. I do really like the Strawberry Blossoms font. That's one of my go-to ones. We're going to use that. All right, and then I'm using my fingers. So I love how easy it is. You can also do this on an iPad if you want a bigger screen. The Artpira app can be downloaded on your iPad or tablet. So we're going to make that slightly bigger on an angle. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to add in squad. And we'll go ahead and adjust the font on that as well. And we're going to go down. Let's do, I already know what I'm looking for this one, Strawberry Flowers, which I feel like is a good complement to this. And we're going to go ahead and put it under there. And what I'll do really quick, I'm going to make this bigger so you guys can see it. So I'm using my fingers to pinch and zoom my actual canvas, not actually making the design bigger. All right, but I am going to make bride slightly bigger, okay? And now let's go and change these colors, right? Because we want to add some fun colors. We could turn it pink. We could turn it purple.
Oh, yeah. Let's so easy to do.
So easy. Again, you're going to see, I'm all about the quick and easy. You're going to see that we're going to be able to design this so fast. All right. Now, let's personalize it because we all love a good personalization. So you could put the name of every bridesmaid that's going on. So when I did my 40th birthday ones, look, I've got my friend Becky's name right there. So I did everyone's name on there, which I thought was a little fun addition. All right, so let's add in, we're just going to make up a name, Sammy. Okay, we're going to do something fun with Sammy's name. We're going to change the font. And we could do Sammy. We'll keep it with the same font that we used to squad. And get about the size we want it. We're going to hit that transform option right there. And we're going to curve that text, which I think is super cool. And you can see that by sliding right there, that little slide back and forth, look, you can see how it changes that arc. So we're going to keep it there. And then I'm going to go ahead and move, because I kind of want it to slightly be, come on, Sammy. All right, we're going to move it in a second. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add in some other stuff. We're going to go to printing data, and we're going to go into illustration. This is where all the cool stuff is, right? So, oh, it looks like, there we go. Okay, making sure we weren't stuck on the screen there. All right, so we're going to go into, let's see, I think some of the bridal stuff might be in love. So you can see all the different, we can slide that up so you can see more so. So, yep, there we go. We've got a ring. We're going to pop that ring in there. All right, and it comes in giant, so we need to resize it with our fingers. You can also resize this in layout as well. See if I can move Sammy real quick. There we go. And we're going to change the color of Sammy in just a sec. Let's change it. Let's do like a lighter pink, maybe. Yeah, there we go. And we'll move that down right above that E so it kind of arcs over that E. And then we'll make our ring slightly bigger. All right, and then we're going to go back into printing data. And we're going to go back into that same section where we just were in the love section. And so based on whatever you're doing on here, maybe it's a summer trip, there's a ton of really fun travel, nautical things that you can add. So literally, like, there is something in here designed for everyone. So no matter what kind of trip you're doing, you can find something. All right, let's get that last little ring right there. And then we're going to.
So cute. Look at all this.
Wait, and we're almost done. I'm going to add one more thing, which I think is cute. Since this, I'm saying this bachelorette party is going to be a beach destination. So we're going to add a little swimsuit. We're going to pull that from the fashion section. Okay, we go to the fashion section. Give it a sec. Let's go find it. Yep, there it is. Swimming suit. All right, and we put our little swimming suit right in there.
Oh my goodness. This is so much. I'm going to do this immediately after the show. My fashion and fishing. That's my slogan. It's going on my
God,
bag.
It's so cute. Yeah, there's so much cute stuff in nautical.
Perfect.
I love it. All right, we're not saving it because I've already got this design saved. Now, guess what I forgot to do? And I'm going to show you because I did this before. I forgot to remove my square, right? So here's what we're going to do. If you don't remove your rectangle that's around there. So I'm going to just hit that and I'm going to delete it. And then if you're worried about things moving or anything, you can always select all and you can group it together. But if you don't remove that square, it's not the end of the world, but it is the end of the world if you press it with that square there, because that square will press onto your design. So that's why I wanted to make the mistake and remind you, because I made the mistake when I was making samples, and then I had to cut the border of that off before I pressed it. So I cut it like that. Just a little quick reminder. I always, like, when I make mistakes, I like to tell people about them. So then hopefully it will help you not make the same mistake. All right, so we're not going to save it because we don't need to. One thing to note is that it already mirrored our design. So we're ready to go. We don't have to think about anything. We hit print. Yep, and it's going to send it directly to our printer. Sometimes I have a little Wi-Fi issues. We'll give it a second, and I've got some printed out if we need to fix it. All right, so you can see while we're waiting for it to transfer, we will pull up the big screen. Yep. All right, so after it's printed, it looks just like that, right? Again, if you make the mistake and it looks like this, all you got to do is take your scissors and just cut this off. So for timing's sake, we will keep on moving, but you can see you just cut the edges, because if you do go ahead and tape that to your project, that line is going to press on, and then you're going to have a border that you may not want on your design. Okay. All right. So once you're ready, the cool thing about the Brother app is that you can look up the heat setting, right? So it'll tell you based on whatever you're pressing onto, the type of surface. So this is like a fabric hard surface, right? There's something hard in the inside there. And it tells you exactly what temp to set it at. So we've got our set at 370 for 60 seconds. We don't have to pre-press this one just because it's not something that has moisture in it. And it's also not wrinkly, right? So what we will do is we will take our design, and I've got the key essential here, which is heat safe tape. Angela and I talk about this all the time. We're talking about sublimation. You have to use heat safe tape. You cannot use the clear tape that you get from the grocery store or from your convenience store. It will melt. It will
be a mess, a huge mess.
Huge mess. All right. So what we want to do with this heat safe tape, we're going to take our design. We want to line it up. And you can see slightly through the back. I know it's probably hard to see on there, but I'm going to set it down for 1 sec just to make sure that I get it lined up where I want it to be. And then I take my tape, and I'm just going to put a piece, and I'm going to wrap it around the back. And then I usually like to put a piece on all 4 sides. just to make sure that my design stays exactly where I want it so that it does not move. I do try and avoid putting my tape directly over where parts of my printed design are. Sometimes, depending on the type of press you're using, it can affect the pressure on the design, and the pressure could slightly be different, causing just a little bit of difference in the color. Just hard to explain. Like if you get less pressure on one space, it might be a little bit lighter than it is where you have more pressure. So just try to make sure that you put your tape in areas maybe that it's not touching like where there's a design. So I kind of put my tape around where there's some blank spaces there. And I'm going to put one more piece on the bottom. And these are easy to batch out, right? So if you're making these for a bunch of people, I only had one on my screen there. You could put probably 4 on one sheet, print them all together, and then you can also press. If you've got a larger press, you can press them all at the same time. So it's really fast and easy to be able to do those. All right, so we're going to pull out our press right here. I'm going to put it with my design facing upward. And then I'm always going to use just a piece of parchment paper just in case. Make sure you're using parchment, not wax. Wax will melt. Parchment withstands the heat. We're going to roll that guy back in, and I've got it set for 60 seconds, right? So if you are working with a design like this guy, you want to make sure that it's laid completely flat. Here's the thing about pressure, right? You can slightly see how it's a little bit lighter in the center there. That is because there's like a fold mark, and that's really hard to avoid because we got less pressure on this kind of the what do you call this? The spine of the book. It will be slightly lighter there. So that's what I mean when the pressure is varied. If you're using a hand press to press any sublimation projects, you want to just make sure that you are evenly pressing. Like sometimes when I use a hand press, I literally like lay on it to make sure that I'm evenly pressing the entire project, because if the pressure varies, you will get a slight variation in the color of your project.
That's good to know. I was looking at that book. I was wondering, how did you do that? Now, do you remember what temperature you did that one at?
This book was, the same as this, 370 for 60 seconds.
Okay.
So yeah, and that 370 for 60 seconds is a pretty common temperature time combo for most of your sublimation projects. It's usually, it varies slightly if you're doing things that are like ceramic, but most of the projects that you're doing that are fabric based, it will be at about that temperature. All right, so now it's hot, right? So I'm just going to slide it right on off there. You may want to let it cool, or if you've got heat gloves, you can put on heat gloves. My fingers are used to hot stuff, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull it off so you guys can see it. Not very gracefully. I'm just going to rip it off quickly, but I love the reveal part of this. I want y'all to see how awesome. Oh, there's one piece of tape. Boom. How cute is that?
Oh my gosh. I love that. Look at how bright the colors are too.
Right? The colors are so bright, which I absolutely love. And look, wait, where do I have? So again, I want to show, I like to, when we get our projects done, I have an extra sample. So you can see the difference, right? People get confused and are like, wait, I just printed this out and the colors don't look vibrant. They look so pale, or they almost look muted. But that is just how sublimation works. When you press it, it just makes the reveal so much more fun because you get this really, really bright, colorful project. And you can see too, this shows off the bright colors in this one as well. So
this is so cute. So I'm just curious to know the fabric of those. Is it like a vinyl maybe that you're?
Yes, I would say it's probably more so of like it's like a polyester vinyl, right? It's very smooth. I'm trying to think of like what's the right, and the same thing.
I love this.
It's the exact same for the book as well. And the cool part about these is they're not going to rub off, right? It's not like they're not going to peel off. That ink fused with the material, which is really cool. And just make sure that if you are looking for things like these, that it says sublimation or it lists that it is 100% polyester. That's all I got.
So again, we are live in the chat today. So if you have questions, drop them in the chat. This is so cute. I'm going to bring up our websites again, just so they can see. So in case you missed Lynn Lilly's last episode, we did something great for July 4th, but it will be great for the whole summer. And now you've got something for your next trip. I would love to know, does anybody have any weddings coming up? This is such a cute idea for a wedding gift, but a birthday trip would be just as good.
Yep, I did it for my 40th, and I dropped this off at everyone's house the day before we left as like a get excited for the trip. Everyone loved it. And then, we used this design on everything. We had t-shirts. It all matched. It was really, really cute.
Oh my gosh. I just want to spend like one day in your house.
I don't know. My husband may differ with you. He's like, you're crazy. There's craft stuff everywhere. There's holiday stuff. Like, yeah, my studio is my happy place because it's super colorful. My husband doesn't love as much color, so our house is more like neutrals and whites and very farmhouse-esque. But like the studio is my happy place. I can just spill color everywhere, and it just makes me so happy.
I love it. I love it. I'll bet you probably 90% of the people watching the show today would say the same thing. Love the color. Love the color.
Yep.
All right. Well, if you have questions, drop them in the chat. Don't forget to share these. If you're doing any of these projects or anything from our live shows, share it on social using hashtag Brother Sews, hashtag Brother Scan and Cut, and hashtag Brother Crafts. You got all three going for you. And this is super fun. So if you have not downloaded the Artpira app yet, they have a free version. What are you missing, right?
Love it. Yes, you can do so much stuff, and it's so easy. If you've never used a design software, you can pick it up and start to go. It's super simple.
And I've had people say, can I use it on the computer? No, but you can use it on your tablet. So depending on the size of your tablet, you get a much bigger screen. I'm more of a tablet girl for this one. I do use my phone a lot, but when I'm on the tablet, you can just see them so much better.
It's so much bigger. Yeah.
All right. Until next time, everyone, happy sewing, happy crafting. Lilly, I cannot wait to see what you do next. I have to pull out my pink shirt for the next one, though.
I know. We'll see. So next month, we might be talking back to school, end of summer. We'll see.
Sounds good. All right, everyone. Till next time, happy sewing. Bye.